Hello! And welcome back. Well, it looks like things are less bad over here. Okay, gotta check for things like cleanup and other nasty things. I should almost certainly do more of that. Oh well. I also should have done some recovering. Yeah, I ended up saying that every mission. Well, guess I just gotta deal with it. So one of the things that I have to sort of deal with is that from this point onward, well, actually it's been the case for a while now, but I'll just have to accept that sometimes I won't be able to initiate a finishing battle on an enemy for 2 or 3 battles because getting rid of all of their squads is impractical for whatever reason. But I definitely don't want to be in the sort of situation we've seen before where I engage in a brawl between me and the enemy and I'm not at that much of an advantage. Because we've already seen how that goes. And this is one of the reasons why Jun is actually pretty good. Oh, this white phosphorus shot is pretty troublesome. Because my recons were just about ready to charge up an illumination shot and move forward, but this shell is going to delay that a bit. So I'll probably have to take a shot or two at low accuracy. Oh, also, I recently got a solid-state drive. It wasn't that difficult, surprisingly. And my understanding is that it is an important tool for recording things smoothly. Which is to say, you run the game software on one disk, and your recording software on another. And that apparently works reasonably well. So in future recordings, I will, of course, try that out. The main thing I want to fix is Dark Souls, of course. But it might be helpful for other games, both now and in the future. And right on the buzzer. What seems likely is that if I ignored the mechanics and just tried to shoot the AFW, I'd end up taking a whole lot more damage and still wouldn't finish them off. Well, In addition to my current unreasonable list of video game projects, I have a Twitch stream in mind in which I play the first .hack series, and if that goes well, then follow it up with .hack GU, which I understand has a following of some kind. That's kind of far in the future, I think. What I have running right now is pretty time-consuming. Now, upon starting this battle, I really had no reason to assume that I would actually finish the enemy off. Because Ipe is definitely the worst shooter on the team, and the enemy has pretty close to full health, and is the tankiest AFW on the field. The tankiest tank, yes. I think people are a bit too quick to say impossible, especially when a not very good gun is fired by a not very good shooter. That being said, this is getting a little bit crazy. I never did look up the word callow, although I probably should. I've seen it a few times in video games, although not in actual speech. Okay, this is gonna be a little bit close. I kinda wish I could see the full text for that one, but no time to worry about that. Oh wow, just in time. Well, it just goes to show you can never quite tell how these battles are gonna end. Which is not good news for me, because if I'm gonna win battles, I'm gonna have to predict things pretty well. So, although there's still some fighting on this side of things, it's no longer something to worry about, especially. This side is another story, of course. The fighting field is narrow, and that's not good news for my setup here. Though in retrospect, I was probably too scared about moving my units into the woods. It's better than having them get jumbled up on a set of tiles 2 squares wide and not being able to field all of them. Well, what can you do? one of the reasons I feel comfortable about putting the recons in crew is that even a 20% terrain penalty doesn't bother John very much. Nighttime penalties are kind of another story, though. Which makes me glad that the enemy here has only one squad and those guys are not too well armored. Now, shooting at the enemy AFW is a good idea for a couple of reasons. The biggest one being, of course, that it slows them down. Also, considering the way that their shooter squad is hemorrhaging health, I don't even need to take any shots at them. In fact, I barely even need to take another shot at the AFW, because even my rifle squads could deal with that last 6 health. But it's still better not to take that chance. Okay, things are not looking so great for Emilio. However, I believe his turn is coming up soon and he should be able to recover plenty of health. So I'm not that worried. This sort of thing is why it really pays to look at enemies' movement ranges. Well, that's important in any tactics game. I recall some bad Fire Emblem experiences because I didn't completely think things through along those lines. So, Ryoko was in trouble, but now she's fine. And on this side, there's still a fair amount of work to do, though. So if I destroy that medium AFW, the anti-AFW sitting on the city tile will be able to move in and take its place. It's important to remember things like that. Also, Weizsäcker does not do his very best at short range, and he could be attacked by several enemies, and it could just be bad in general. Yeah, I'd say recovering in place is one of the more powerful options available in the game. Oh, okay. So, the potential enemy movement has turned into actual enemy movement, and it is resolving in a way that works out reasonably well for me. That was a lot of words to say the enemy made a bad move just there. It doesn't look like an especially bad move, attacking a damaged unit with a fresh one of the same type. But we have the power of player characters. By the way, do you use speakers or headphones? I personally use headphones because, well, they are inclined to not bother anyone else, and they are very convenient for recording things like this. However, I've used speakers before, and there are things you can do with them that you can't really do with headphones. So I respect either choice. It's just a matter of curiosity. Uh-oh, should I hit both of them, or just finish off the recon? Well, Cansado doesn't have many maximum attacks left. And although although medics are annoying, it seems unlikely that they'd actually hurt me too badly. Of course, it'd be best to eliminate all of the squads in one battle, but unfortunately, since I have neither Illumination Shot or any other decent shells for the situation, well, what can I say? Sometimes when your resources are low, you gotta make compromises. That was not a whole lot of damage, especially since Cansado can sometimes get really good numbers off of a single shot. Now that is a really odd choice of shell for a light AFW. If they actually tried firing that at long range, doesn't even matter that the APCR would get a bonus for it. Just the natural damage drop off would ruin that thing. Wow, have they actually been actively moving back this whole time? Also, I'm really surprised that shot landed. I would have preferred to shoot the squad, of course, but what can you do? Yeah, they're definitely moving backwards. This sort of behavior, I kind of appreciate that the AI does weird things sometimes. Even though, you know, predicting things is my job when playing this game, I like how the AI is kind of made to be unpredictable in a lot of situations. Dang it, I was too late with that snipe, although it wouldn't have finished them off anyway. Well, so what's Jen gonna do next? We know that Ryoko isn't gonna move anytime soon. and that the foreleg probably is going to move sometime soon. So I might as well deal with it. I mean, this is one of the most advantageous situations in the game. It would be kind of silly to not take advantage of it. I don't think those adhesive mines are going to work. One of the reasons that I wish I could disable the use of skills is that when a unit moves forward and has a skill charge, the use of that skill also takes up their turn. What I mean by that is, if an uncharged unit moves to the front line, they immediately just fire a shot. And in cases like with those mines, I'd prefer that my mechanics to just shoot rather than place those mines down. I mean, look at that. That is some pretty intense damage. I'd love another one of those. Well, I guess it's possible that not having fine control over what your soldiers do is intentional. I wouldn't know the truth without actually talking to them, and I'm pretty sure I don't speak the language. Oh! So, a recon squad with snipe, something else, and ink shrap. So remember when I was talking about having problems with special shells and other resources for Kinsado? That could help. It is a thing which may aid future battles. Yes. Makes me wonder what's in those other villages. Well, okay, this is gonna sound weird, but I actually don't remember what's in them. I'll be reminded as I do commentary on more of this mission. So, should I attack those guys at medium distance? It's not ideal, but they're not gonna counterattack Ayana, I think. Or, if I destroy that AFW, the others actually could. So, I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, if you're watching this, you've most likely played some tactics games yourself. You know how it feels to have enemies right in front of you, but also some enemies behind them that are kind of in range and could move forward at any time. That's a very uncomfortable feeling. The other thing is that the light FW doesn't actually have its squads removed, so who knows what might happen. Well, so Weizsäcker is in a better position because if he gets attacked unexpectedly, first of all, he's a bit more durable, and second of all, he does have some smoke shots to help ease up the situation. If I was at close range, I'd be worried about that medic squad. And I'm kind of surprised that those guys were deployed instead of the mechanics. Although it makes a certain amount of sense because those medics have illumination shot and it's nighttime. And it's reasonable to assume that those guys want to fight back. Also, I definitely should have just waited for my illumination shot. Oops. So that was some pretty good aiming on their part. Unfortunately, some of the problems of a light AFW, especially of that kind, are not really solvable by aiming. Well, the same goes for me. I could use a bit less distance, but the problem is definitely worse on their end. Oh man, they just took a nasty rocket hit too. I probably don't even need to land another shot, but who knows. Uh-oh. Yeah, I could have avoided that second and a half of nighttime condition, but overall I'm not too upset by what happened. It's a good idea to take some extra aiming time in this situation regardless. I like how that last medic kind of runs away for a minute and then turns back around like, we're not done yet. Man, that extra square of attack range makes a huge difference. I would say that I wish it was default for 4 legs, except that would mean enemy 4 legs have it too, and my situations are complicated enough already. So this is a tough decision for me because some special shells would be really handy at nighttime, but on the other hand, I need the damage from my infantry too, and that's usually the most reliable thing, so I'm going with that. I actually kind of like that you can't really have a squad setup that covers every situation. Well, that is, maybe that's not quite right. You can create a more versatile squad setup, but you can't have it cover a ton of situations and also have all these neat special abilities and benefits and stuff. Like, I have this really solid anti-infantry setup that can strike from extremely far away, But I don't have any illumination shots. Gotta live with it. Oh, right. Of course they pulled their troops back. Well, I guess I'll do the same. Might as well set up another co-op. In retrospect, maybe I should have opened up with a creeping fire. The enemy seems to have pretty good timing for firing a disrupting shot the moment I set up. But I'd rather have them use that sort of thing defensively rather than pile it all on one of my frontliners. Oh, this means that some of the damage from co-op is going to be wasted. That's... oh well. I guess I should just be grateful that I got rid of the medic squad. The real question is whether or not they're going to pull that recon unit back the moment they've tossed out that snipe. Because they did that last time. And that would make things more troublesome. But apparently they just set it up for a shot, so not really. Yeah, they take that long-range penalty really hard. Like, if it were in the closer side of medium, I would have taken a ton more damage. Which, to their credit, is why they're closing in. However, they've spent too much time moving their stuff back and forth. So I have a tough decision here. I have a lot of maximum attacks to burn, and it would be really aggravating to let those guys go. It would mean at least one more battle to just get rid of those mechanics to prevent a messier brawl. Also, if I had used a creep fire earlier, I probably wouldn't have had to also use an emergency load right here. But then again, it's such a useful finishing move against backliners. I don't know. I'll say that what happened here was not exactly a disaster for me, since I can strip 4 more AFWs of their troops if I can stick to 1 creep fire per battle, and considering how far this map has gone, I think I can be okay with that. Well, we'll have to see how that pans out next time. See you later.